Aloha and welcome back. Take a look at these massive waves coming through for these guys here in the Vans World Cup quarterfinals. Yes, we've just got a few guys left in competition. John Florence, Jack Freestone, Jack Robinson, and mighty Nat Young. As we take a look at the lineup, and am I crazy or has it gotten better than the last time we were? Ross Williams, David Stanfield. Ross, the waves are just looking absolutely, it's a four-letter word, we'll use it again, epic.
It is on fire out there, Dave.
That's another good one.
Fire, there we go. Yeah, it's improved, believe it or not. This morning was good right out of the gates, and it's gotten better.
Pete and Chris get all the good heats.
I don't know. I mean, look at this heat right here. John Florence, Jack Freestone, Jack Robinson, and Nat Young. That's crazy.
Well, let's start things off with John Florence. I asked John, who's caddying for you? I think Pancho Sullivan. And I asked, when's the last time your mom caddied for you? Maybe when I was a little kid. He's out there, and he's enjoying the moment so much right now. John Florence, yes. His name is John Alexander Florence, nicknamed John, 23 years of age, the 13th seed, and just amazing.
And again, right out of the gates, just like he did in his last heat this morning. Quick little snap straight up into the foam, then cuts back, so that's two maneuvers before he kicks out. Just a little feeler for him.
He paddles back out. His competitors, well, Jack Freestone could do no wrong, the 23-year-old. Tweed Heads, New South Wales, Australia. Jack Robinson, Western Australia, 17-year-old wonder kid. And Nat Young, the 24-year-old out of Santa Cruz. We're taking a look at him on the inside. So all of a sudden, cloud overhead gets glassy, though. Nat Young's been on his backhand most of his life. He's got just a vicious hook right there underneath the lip of the wave and into the deep water. Nat Young has an amazing style, and he really can redirect at different speeds off the top of that wave. I mean, and go beyond vertical for his snaps.
Well, on his backhand, he's gonna really rely on that 12 o'clock approach. That's how he can look different from the regular footers. So, you know, and the other thing about Nat Young that makes him so tough to beat is he never falls. He's very consistent.
12 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30. The guy really whips it good. What do you get here? Probably a 12 o'clock hit?
Watch this as he kind of regains control. His back foot slips just a little right there, and he gets right back up on his board and then smacks it in the face. So a nice vertical snap there, you know, and again, it's not going to be a huge score, but just getting another little feeler, just like John.
11:30. So the judges are noticing every movement, especially the radius of the turns and the control and how you actually surf out of it, right? You don't want to be hung up. Starting and restarting, not a good thing. The waves are looking beautiful. Here's Jack Freestone. He is so stoked and so thrilled that he is in the big show for next year, and just there is no pressure on him. And he goes, you know what? I might as well come out and end the QS rankings here in a big way. And this is John, not wasting any time. This is how he opened up. John looking for a barrel, tucks underneath, and the two little chandelier sections. The speed he carries, he's got this extra gear.
And how was that, Dave? That was, and he barely finished that last wave and went hooked right into that second wave. And, you know, we're talking in a span of, what, a minute? He got those two waves, so very clever surfing from John. He's picking apart the lineup here at Sunset, which we know, Dave, is so hard to do. And Jack Freestone here getting a really nice wave. A couple of major carves. That was a nice kind of torque at the end of that carve. That's going to look different to the judges, and he'll get a couple extra marks for that. But this is definitely the first real blood drawn in this heat. Crazy carve there for John. That notorious whip at the end of that carve. And a bonus barrel. Very clean barrel there. That stayed wide open for him. Very easy exit, and that's going to be a solid score. They tend to throw you pretty big numbers, but it's a good backup score for John.
6.67, so that's his high score. John looking to get rid of a 3.33. Priority with our surfing yellow, Jack Robinson. And here we go, the event wild card, number 63 seed. As we take a look out the back. John Florence, is he getting jet ski assist? He's back out there again. Oh, what a different turn again, just putting it on. Is he snowboarding? Is he surfing? Is he wakeboarding? What's he doing out there? He really mixes things up.
That was really fun to watch. I mean, that was a bar of soap getting slung around a bathtub right there. It's just the kind of carving. And we talked about commitment. There you go, judges. Hey, how's that for commitment? John, nice layback snap right up in that critical part of the section, and he started this way and then finished the wave off again with that trademark John layback carve. So, you know, he's got the commitment thing in the house here. You know, so again, because he started with that big move right on a takeoff, the judges are going to be more apt to get him big numbers. So, you know, he had the 6.67 for that really nice carve, which really was a better turn on that last wave. But because he had 2 maneuvers on a big wave, I think this score will go higher.
That last turn, on his heel side, he redirected twice. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake because of a bump. Either way, incredible skill and ability.
Our defending Vans Triple Crown of Surfing champion into the quarterfinals, Julian Wilson.
As we pick up action out the back, and yes, it's another surfer in red, John Florence, and he has been busy. His third wave coming in at an 8.0. I believe that's wave number 4, Rod. We can't keep up. What is with it? How fast a paddler is this guy?
He's exposing himself. I mean, this is why we call John an alien. He just reaches that different level, another platform that a lot of the guys in the competition just don't reach. I mean, this carve right here is crazy town. Beautiful, again, whippy carve, and then backs it up with a layback hammer right before the wave closes out. I like that better than his last score, and his last score is an 8. So just a crazy amount of torque. He gets so much projection out of that carve, it just whips him straight into his next maneuver. And because he's carrying so much speed, he can do any maneuver he wants, which at sunset, that's a lot of power.
A 9.0. Wave number 4, 8.0 prior to that, 6.67. He keeps building a house, and the house is going to be a 5-story building here pretty soon. Jack Robinson, can he do what's happened in the past and make a spectacular comeback? Stay with us. Well, we're going to watch this. Take a look at the inside. It is Florence again. Florence with a huge wall ahead. Stands and delivers, and he comes out head first.
He was extremely casual, just standing straight up in that cave. Just got clipped. I mean, that was inches away from being a 10.
Was he too comfortable in the barrel?
I mean, obviously, he just got a little relaxed, but that was extremely perfect, especially for Sunset Beach. That thing was open. It was really wide, but again, he got clipped.
Probably visualizing, just getting great waves, putting it on rail, not making any mistakes, and being well aware of the situation.
He does that hand thing too, I notice. He kind of rubs his hands together. You can see he's having a little chat with himself.
And here we go. It's Florence to the inside again. Florence looking for a long barrel ride. Tucks underneath, got the speed. There's the closeout section. And again, it really clamps tight down there no matter how much your speed. Sunset and that section right there,
yeah.
90% of the time you kind of get knocked off. That is a heavy lip.
There's a really nice chunk of reef that's pretty shallow, and then it abruptly hits deep water, and that's when that wave pinches.
You know, the swell's slowly declining. The buoys we're looking at this morning, it's showing it coming down just a little bit, but trending a little bit more north-northwestern direction, so great direction here for sunset. We're going to see solid surf for the remainder of the after day. Great conditions. Trade should come up a little bit, but not as much north in the trades as yesterday, so clean conditions. We're just looking at a great final here.
Looking forward to a great final here. We'll wrap things up today. Coming up next in the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, the Billabong Pipe Masters, starting December 8th.
Todd Klein calls timber. He's a little lumberjack. Take a look what happened here. Jack Robinson on fire again.
Well, we were worried about Jack. You know, he's out there kind of lost, and then finally he found himself a keeper of a score. Tucks in. Very tricky bear, though. Technical exit there. He squeezed through that vice grip. A lot of those waves out there, as we mentioned, that hits the deep water and it pinches. So really clever surfing there from Jack, and then he finished the wave off with the maneuver. So, wow, excellent score, Dave.
8.0, he goes from 4th to 1st. One wave, an 8.0. Now he's in a pretty good spot, but he has 4th priority. You just look down there over to Rocky Point and around to Pupake and Pipe. That's going to start firing on Tuesday with our Billabong Pipe Invitational, pumping for some speed. This is his 2nd wave. Anything will help, and he exits in a big exit.
Hopefully he didn't like kind of land on the deck of his board. That was a wild kick out right with the backwash, and he's okay.
Oh, well, it's not what he wanted. Jack Robinson looking for a 2nd wave to help his 2-wave total, and it's a 0.5. Late takeoff for a Freestone here, I believe. Freestone says, you don't want it, I'll take it. Freestone trying to better a 0.23. Long wall, it's not going to work out for him.
Just a little too deep in the lineup for that wave. That wave went straight to the inside bowl, and that's where John really started off this heat. So clever. He just stuck right there on the inside and found a couple of gems.
Look at these guys now. It looks like Jack Robinson and John Florence are kind of working the same area. Meanwhile, Nat's got to move back over towards the channel to the inside. John Florence for some more miracle surfing, trying to better an 8.0. Offshore winds, beautiful wave here at sunset. Nice wrap, mixing it up, and there's not much left, so he pulls out.
Yeah, that wave just fattened up. John read it perfectly. He said, I'm out of here. There's no chance of me bettering an 8-pointer. And he's just making his heat look really easy. He's caught more than twice as many waves as anyone else in his heat.
Nat Young needs a 4.81. As we take a look at Freestone here, wave number 4. And there's not much left on the wall here, and he pulls out.
Well, it's not going to be what he wants, but it is enough to get him into second place. He only needs a 1.1.
Robinson tested the waters on the inside, but he's going back out there, and he looks like he's chasing something big as we take a look at Freestone's 4th wave.
Nice hook right there in the pocket, but it goes straight into deep water, so Jackson a kick out. So again, he's not going to be too concerned, or he's not going to really enjoy the fact that he's going to get pushed up into second. He's still going to have the urgency to replace this score.
Nat Young looking for the bomb score, and he can only hope that nobody else will catch a wave. Jack Robinson doesn't need much of a score, but again, if he jumps up into the second spot, Freestone's right there ready to pounce. Freestone's last wave, but comes in at 303. There's somebody to the inside. I thought he went down, but it's John Florence with a disappearing act. Here comes the young Houdini. And the North Shore surfer that is one of the most popular in the world is amazing to watch.
Yeah, he's just messing around at this point. That was awesome how he tucked into the barrel straight away. Again, very clever from John. He's hanging right next to that inside bowl.
Well, he has got a big sizable lead. Here is Robinson now, and he gets covered up.
And there's the difference, Dave. You see Jack's been hanging on that outside bowl, and you see how much trouble he's having finding a scoreable wave.
Let's see where he's actually...
He got stuck behind there. He was just a little too deep, and here's this quick, watch that right arm, John just stalling as if it's a head-high wave. That takes a lot of power to hug the wall like that at Sunset Beach. It's tough to slow yourself down, but he managed to do that right on a takeoff and then finish that wave off with a couple of trademark carves like he does. But again, just so much control, and it's very tough to do on a wave this large. Usually the wave kind of dictates how you surf. There's an amazing amount of control there from John.
John gets a 9.63. He's throwing away some big scores as we watch Freestone trying to hold on and solidify that second spot. He's comboed to take the lead. 1:48 on the clock. This might make it real tough for Nat Young if he gets a score that'll improve his 2-wave total. At this point, Robinson and Young chasing Jack Freestone for a transfer spot.
Here he goes, stalls, sits on the brakes. That was cool. Nice little tube ride there for Jack Freestone, and he really needed that score because Jack Robinson actually has a little bit of an advantage being that he has an 8-point ride. So he's going to apply some pressure on the young Jack Robinson here in the last minute.
We haven't seen that too often. Now, we've seen a lot of people drag their arm to maybe slow down and maintain their speed. Obviously, speed is, but here he actually stepped on the tail and put on the handbrake. Yeah,
he just stepped on the brakes, and it's a very efficient way, especially at sunset. Let that board do the work for you, and you can wipe off a lot of speed quick.
Freestone's got a score to come through, and it looks like it's going to better him. A 4.07. Now Robinson needs a 3.40. Young needs a 7.70. 52 seconds remaining. It's a done deal. Comboed the entire field. John Florence with a 9.63 and a 9.0. He's throwing away an 8-point ride. Into one surfer's hands and then into another. And John, yeah, well, he can go back and forth and do his little snowboarding at any time he wants. It's now or never for Robinson, who's looking for a 3.40. He's had to pick this one off. There's 15 seconds on the clock. This is one of those critical waves, and he's trying to get out of third and advance through. Nerves of steel just to take this.
Wow.
And we're going to end it up, and it looks like this last wave right here will count, but it's just a shore boat. Robinson picking off not the ideal wave, but trying to make the most of it, looking for a 3.40. Can he upset the apple cart again?
Extremely tight finish here. And watch as we see Jack here. He just, well, that was the wave where he stepped on the brakes and got that cool barrel. But needing a small score, it seems. Jack Robinson, kind of a roly-poly wave coming down the reef. It's got that north angle on it. It's a little bit mushy, but here's the good news. It stretched all the way to the inside bowl, and it gave him multiple turns. Little cut back there, and then he actually had kind of a bonus section right before that wave hit the channel. It barely gave him a lip to hit, and he tags it, so it's going to be close.
Freestone anxiously waiting. The difference between these two, well, not much. Remember, Robinson's got an 8.0 as high score. Freestone has 7.33. It's this second score that's so critical, and it's been difficult to get anything in the 4 or 5 range.
There's our director, Marty Thomas. He's like, hey, boys, lock that number in. We're against the clock here.
And here it comes, and it does not look good for Jack Robinson, a 3.4. It does. It is enough. Look at this. It's a tie, and the count back going to the 8.0. Robinson, 11.40. Freestone, 11.40. Robinson moves through. Come back with heat number 2 of our quarterfinals. Unbelievable.